data warehouse in Microsoft Fabric. So I actually planned to do a recorded video, but in the meantime, I got an opportunity to go it as a live. Thank you so much. And I would just like to give a brief about myself and whoever not aware of me. I'm a senior BA specialist in Robert Bosch, deputy to Microsoft, and having a 13 plus years of experience in Microsoft technologies working with SSIS and RS. And past 7.5 years, I'm working with the Power BI as an front-end development part as well as a leading a team. And and if you want to get in touch with me, I have a LinkedIn sites where you can get in touch with me if you have any doubts or something. And I started writing the blogs also to share my knowledge globally to the global users. And I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, so where I can try to do internally in our organization itself, whenever if there is any trainings required. That is about brief. And coming to the agenda, right? Just come up with data warehouse in Microsoft Fabric, how it will work and how we are going to configure it. So I will give you a brief introduction about it, and then I will walk you about what is this ETL stands for. Most of the people are aware of it, but in this Fabric part, in the data warehouse, how it will be works. So I will showcase you with the help of a data pipeline as well as data flow gen 2 too. So we will try to explore data load strategies, how we will try to use it, or else maybe if there is any staging layer, we can try to create it. So that operation, how we are going to enable it. By default, it is there or not, we will try to check it. And along with that, I will showcase the in detail process for the data pipeline. And is there any process to schedule the data pipeline? So in the Fabric itself, so that part also I'm going to showcase to you. And loading some of the tables by using some transaction SQL databases too. So how we are going to create it. So I have predefined some queries I have written. So I'm going to showcase to you how we are going to write the queries in Fabric once you created a data warehouse. So then I will showcase you from the data extraction from the data flows and quickly walk through the demo as well. So from end-to-end process from the data, I mean, like a data warehouse creation to the how we are going to extract the tables from data pipelines as well as data flow gen 2, and maybe from some other lake houses too, how we are going to import it into the create a new warehouse. So the new tables, how we are going to import it. That process also I'm going to showcase to here as a part of a demo. And here, what is a data warehouse in Microsoft Fabric? So it's a complete, simply we can say it is a storage area where we can try to do it, whether it is a structured data or else unstructured or semi-structured kind of a capabilities. Suppose if you are very good at the transactional SQL capabilities, it is well and good, so that we can easily write the statements and we can pull the information from different source systems. So from the lake houses part. So as I said, right, lake house means it's not somewhere where we can try to get it from different sources or else different instances. It is something like in OneDrive where we are going to fetch the information from end-to-end activities too. And we are going to process this Microsoft Fabric's part, the data warehouse, how we are going to extract the data for the preparation activities and how we are going to analyze it, and report preparation also I can showcase at the end if the time permits. And the Power BI side, how we are going to select all the tables if you are extracting multiple, and then I can showcase it to the reporting part as well. And if you're observing this, understanding the ETL capabilities, so first of all, we need to bring some data where we can try to do some analytics or also some processing of the part. So once the data has been extracted from any type of a source system, so next important activity should be something like if there is any duplicates or else maybe if we want to perform some data cleanup activities, this has to be taken care from our side. And then once our data is well and good and organized in a structured format, then we can start loading onto the, like whether we can try to configure it as an fact tables with the important metrics and dimension table if you are trying to have it as some categorical informations too. Once the data ETL process has been completed, then it is our responsibility, like where we can try to optimize the performance if it is taking huge time of information, like we can try to set whether it is an incremental load or else a full load we need to require. Those configurations also we can try to set it here. ETL strategies part, if you're observing, as I said, staging layer also we can try to create it once ETL activities has been done. Like it will ask us the different stages part whether we need to create a staging layer or not. So once you can try to configure the data warehouse and extracting the info, it will ask us enable the staging. This option is there, so we can by default it is there enabled. So maybe if it is required we can enable it, or else we can remove the staging layer as well to load the processing onto the data warehouse of the table. Everything has been ready, then it is very easy for us to report on the top of it. Maybe you can start preparing the report, or else dashboard creation, or else this kind of an analysis for ad hoc report building. We can do it on the data loadage part, or else once the data is proper data is available in the data warehouse layers too. This is a common one where most of the organizations will follow type 1 or as a type 2 slowly changing dimensions. Like if it is an they don't want to have any older data and they want to make it as an existing data itself. Mostly we will go with the type 1 related slowly changing dimension. And if you want to maintain some historical part, like and as well as the something like new records also need to maintain, in the sense we'll go with the type 2 kind of an SCD slowly changing dimension. So most, as I mentioned, right, 1 to 6 we have, but most of the organizations and industries they will follow one or two type of an SCD type activities. If we are trying to implement the data warehouse concept either in the type 1 or else a type 2 categories. See here, just prepared one GF format. So how we are going to create a data pipeline? There are two approaches. Suppose maybe if there is a dedicated workspaces, from there we can navigate and we can go to the more options. And here from the data factory, we can try to select the data pipeline. Or maybe once you already have a data warehouse, from there also we can try to pick the data pipelines too. So either we can go in any of the approaches which I have mentioned here. From the data factory side, data pipeline, we can try to pick the particular persona. And once you created the data pipeline, so example, I have created one of the pipeline with the copy data, then we can try to configure as per the data availability. So scheduled runtime, we can try to configure it in the frequency of the weekly or else by minute or else maybe the hourly basis also we can configure and the scheduling level. So we have to enter the start time and end the time and also the time zone as per the data availability. What is the time zones? If you're staying in India, maybe we can try to configure with plus 530 UTC standard. Next, as I said, right, there are multiple ways to create the warehouses. Maybe from if you want to load the tables from by creating the TSQL, we can write the statements. If you're very good at the writing the statements, TSQL structured query languages, we can copy the statements with the help of it will we get support for the Parquet file as well as the CSV file format. So I just written one of the example within Parquet file where we are going to copy the files or else a table from the blob storage to my warehouse source systems too. So it will be currently it is getting supported two of the source system, format types of storage areas. That is, one is a Parquet, another one is an CSV file format. So let me walk you through the publishing and how we are going to create a data flow Gen 2 and how we are going to import the data from this to the data warehouse. I'm going to showcase to you practically. So if we want to get started, right? So first of all, we need to have a proper workspaces, like a dedicated workspace is required. Or maybe if you want to do some trial and error or else try to do some how it will work and all, we can use the my workspaces too. So here already I have created one dedicated workspace, the name called data Toboggan workspace. So let me get started with workspaces, data warehouse, how we are going to create it. Suppose if you're observing here in the left hand side down corner, these are all different type of a personas where we can start directly with the Power BI report. It means we can start it, or else a data factory, ADF report building. We can try to do the data pipeline activities and so on. So see here, these are all the different personas where we can get started with the different tools items. So maybe currently I want to create a dedicated workspace. So I'm going to create a data warehouse, and as well as I want to create a warehouse by using this approach. So here you can see that warehouse. So I want to build a new warehouse now. DT. Giving the name as DTW history. It's as simple as creating a workspace. Once it is done, maybe it'll take a couple of minutes. And you can see on the left hand side with the kind of similar like a data studio, like a SQL SSMS. If you're observe this one, like a schemas we can try to identify, and it will take some time. And the security process, it will, you can observe it. Maybe if you want to define some rules, credentials, maybe if you want to run some new queries, or else if you are trying to write TSQL languages, we can try to queries, right, which you have written, we can try to start saving here also. And if you want to share it the same queries to some other team, or also some other member, we can share the queries too. So currently, once you created on the left hand side Explorer, it's a schema. Currently there is a blank schema. I haven't created any table or else any info views on it, and the stored processes, anything. So in the security part, these are the two available. Like if you want to do some login creation or else some security enhancements, if you want to perform, we can make use of it. So here first, as I said, I'm going to create some new tables here. So if you're observing to build a data warehouse, these are the activities, quick source systems. Like if you want to create a new table by writing the SQL, or else a data lake gen 2, or else a data pipeline from the ADF source system, we can do the extractions and we can load those tables into this warehouse. Let me create a tables which I have already written some of the statements. If you're observing, I'm trying to create three tables. The one is a customer table with few of the fields, customer name and ID column. Product table is there, product name, brand size, and packaging. And city name, I start creating some table. See here, new SQL statement. Either you can try to select it, or else maybe you can use to SQL directly, the template form. Just copy paste it. So I have already written manually. You can have to write it, enter each and every table, and we can execute it. So here I have written for time saving. So you can see these are the tables, right? You can just directly run here so that it will be get load. Those table creations will be get available in a schema of DBO, and we can see all the four tables, like that is a city, customer, product, and version. Just try to run it. It will take some time. As I said, it is running on the cloud environment, and here you can try to refresh it, or once it will be get loaded, here also you can try to refresh here in the schema part. So it depends upon the network and the hardware, the speed and the execution process will be. So if you're just trying to open this DBO schema tables, these are the four tables with a blank. I haven't loaded any information. These four tables we have, we can see the structure of it. Cities table and customer, product, version. So let me rename it as an, instead of, maybe I'm going to use it for the further times. So what I will do in the sense, here itself the run, the which one, the current query which I have executed, I can try to rename it for the future prospects too. I'll just try to rename it. Instead of SQL query 1, create table. These are the four tables. So I will take one more query and try to load some data into it. So I already open and loaded in my backend SSMS as well. So let's try to load some data into it. So few records I'm trying to insert into these tables, those four tables, city, customer, product, and version. Just try to execute it. So once it will get executed, you can see the table information with data load. So for the city, some of the records I have loaded, customer, some records has been loaded, product, and version. So you can see the execution time here on the down corner. Four tables have been loaded. So to build one of the project, I want to get some more data from an which is available in some lake house. So the table is not available, but it is available in some other lake house. I want to bring the table and make utilize in this data warehouse. How we are going to fetch it? So if you're observing here, currently I have executed some of the statements, TSQL, and these tables has been created. And I want to bring some other table which is available in some different lake house and into this warehouse. So if you're observing here, get data, I just want to bring something like a new pipeline. Giving something like this name. pipeline name, DT sales. So pipeline, it is almost equal to the ingestion of the data. How we will try to verify the ADF of Azure Data Factory. So you can see on the left hand side to copy the data to currently existing lake data warehouse. You can see in the choose the data source. Maybe you can try to choose different set of a data sources which we can try to connect and bring the information into this destination. And once we can get connected source system, we can point out the proper data destination and connect to that destination. And finally, right in the review part, you can see the end-to-end summary. So from where we are trying to bring, do you require some staging area, and then load it into the which warehouse too. So see here, as I said, one of the table that is available in Lakehouse, I'll just directly pull the information from this Lakehouse. See this? Select Lakehouse. Like that, see, it's not only the Lakehouse, we can try to connect from the Azure SQL database or else maybe the on-premises SQL server, different source systems it is getting supported. You can see these systems here. So currently my requirement, I want to bring the information from a Lakehouse. I'm selecting the Lakehouse here. And do you want to create a new Lakehouse or else maybe the existing? So my requirement here, I want to bring the table from existing Lakehouse name called fact WH. This is one I have created some time back. I want to bring the information from this fact WH where my sales data is available. Try to select it. Next. You can see here what are the tables that are available in the fact DH. So one of the sales table is there, another one the sales info. So maybe I'm interested with the sales info table with proper like structured information. So maybe the sales table I haven't done any structuring. So I'll just try to pull this information into my warehouse here. So you can see the data preview on the right hand side with the data types, how it has been assigned to. So let's try to select next option. So we have to point out to the proper warehouse that is. Just now, as I said, right, I created the warehouse name called DTWHD. So this warehouse, I want to get it loaded this sales info table. So select it. Maybe if there is any other, if you want to load some other warehouses too, we can select the point out to the dedicated warehouses here. Select it. And here it will ask us, do you want to load it as an existing table or else like a replacing, or else maybe if it is a new table. So I'm trying to load it as a new table and pointing it as a DBO only schema, and sales info is my table information. And down, if you're observing, these are the fields, columns which has been assigned, and the data types, you can see it here, and pointing out data types in the once it is getting available on your warehouse, this destination type and data types also it has been allocated. Let's try to sign up. Select it. Here, as I said, right, whenever you're trying to load some source systems, like whenever you're trying to copy the data to the warehouse, you can see something like an enable staging. So this option is by default, it is enabled. So it will get created a staging area into your warehouses too. So I just select it. I'm not disturbing it. And the data store type is in the my workspace. I mean, the dedicated workspace, which is an data Toboggan workspace. I select it, select next. You can see here in the review plus save from where you are trying to pointing out and is the staging is required and where it is the destination layer. So if you are connecting from the Lakehouse, so it showcases the Lakehouse. Maybe if you are connecting from the Azure SQL database, it will showcase from the Azure SQL database to the staging, and then warehouse it is going to point out. So whatever the source you are trying to point, right, from extraction point of view, it will showcase the source information, the icon, and then staging information, and then warehouse here. So the data I want to get load immediately. I don't want to wait, or else I don't want to set some restriction. So I'll just try to load it immediately. The data transfer should be. So just try to run it as a save and run. Whenever once the pipeline has been created on the right hand side top corner, it will take some time. As I said, 1 minute as per the data, how much data you're trying to load. And it is queued up. And you can see in the center, it's trying to copy the information. So it will take some time, like maybe 1 minute as per the data size and info. You can see that analysis completely right. Once it is succeeded, the operation is succeeded. You can see something like a tick mark, like the data is completely loaded into the warehouse so that you can navigate from the data pipeline to the data warehouse. So still it is going on. So the down corner, if you're observing, maybe at the final change, or else you want to give some information, additional information, we can try to give some additional information as per the general source settings part. So from where to where you are trying to pull. So you can see those statistics too. So instantly, maybe instead of again reconnecting to the data pipelines and all, if you want to bring some additional source systems too from external point of view, we can try to connect like a copy data from blob storage, some new tables and all. We can do it from here. And the destination anyway, my warehouse. So I want to load it into my warehouse, DTWHD. And the mapping point of view is nothing but where we can see the data types and all from source to the destination, what it is and how it is getting mapped. As I said, if you see, it's successfully loaded. Even you can see the notification part here, run succeeded. Okay, the data pipeline has been executed. Now I will navigate to the data warehouse to see this table, whether it has been loaded or not. So you can see here, sales info has been loaded successfully. Sales info table has been loaded successfully. So these are the 5 tables: city table, customer, product, sales info, and version. So this is the way of extraction from data pipeline. So one more table is there, which is not in a data pipeline form. So I'm going to extract it from a data flow gen. So that is, I want to extract date table, which is not available here, to bring some kind of analysis further. So how we are going to bring it? So here again, if you're observing this, get data. This time I'm going to extract the data, the date table data from this gen link. Select it, data flow gen link. It's almost similar to how we will do it in the Power BI desktop level query editor activities. Maybe if you want to rename instead of a data flow 4, just try to rename it as an data token, data flow. I just renamed it for my reference. You can see here this window, or else this screen, if you're observing, this is just like a Power BI desktop level query editor, but we are currently working on the cloud environment. So these are the stuff we can try to observe. So the file format which is available in this for this date is in the form of an Excel file format. I'm going to pull it from my locally in my local environment, which is available in my desktop. So either you can try to select, if it is a dedicated on-premises source system, we can try to pull from SQL Server, or else a text, or else a CSV format, we can try to pull it. Or from get data, just how many source systems it will try to showcase. We can see all the information from here. To more options means we can see different source systems which will be get supported by this data flow. So these are all the source systems which will be get loaded. Okay. Let me extract it, but my file is in the form of an Excel file format, sorry, CSV file format. I'm going to load this timetable. Try to get data, text or CSV. Just how we will try to select. I'm going to use the same process. It's a new file. It's not an existing, or else I'm not going to provide any file location path. New file, which is available in my desktop as a set. It depends upon the table size. It will take some time. So it's very less only, less information. 2021 and 2022 stats only I'm maintaining in this timetable. So it will provide the connection where you are trying to import it. So let's try to load it next. If you're extracting data from a CSV file format, you can see something like a file origin type, just like in Power BI desktop level. If you're extracting the data from CSV source systems, we can see the delimiter option. Data type detection is based on first 200 records, or else maybe the complete data set also we can try to configure. So here I'm using the based on first 200 records. This is the information I'm holding in my CSV file. Okay, date ID, month name, month of year, and year, quarter information. So I'll just try to create it. I'm not doing any further changes on this data set. Create it, load it. It's getting loaded just like query editor level, how we will do the activities. It's getting loaded, and all the home tab option, if you're observing this header ribbon, just like in Power Query Editor, Power BI desktop level. On the left hand side, if you're observing, fire is timetable. Let me rename it. Instead of a time table is fine instead of a 3. On the right hand side query section, these are all the data transformation steps. Maybe I'm interested. These are the fields. I want to get generated one more new column other than these existing 5 columns. Select it. I'm interested with the name of the day for this, which date stands or else which date is over. Let's try to select this and add a column because I want to build some visualizations based on the name of the day wise also select it. So I'm not writing any of the M functions with the help of an button click transformations only. I'm just trying to generate name of the day 1/1/2021, which day it is falling under. It's falling under, you can see the name of the day, Friday it is falling under. So maybe I'm interested to build a visualization based on day name wise too. So we can just like at whatever the activities of the data cleansing part we will do on the Power BI desktop, the same and the data flow Gen 2 too, we can try to perform it. And here this is the formula bar which you are observing now. Maybe if you want to see the step-by-step kind of an activities like step-by-step transformation wise, here we can try to configure. So instead of a queries, we can just try to step it as a step query. So for this generation of this new column, this is the formula we can try to observe. So these are all the data transformations. So if you want to view complete the data transformations which has been performed to bring this data set, we can just try to configure with the film of query script here, or maybe from the home tab advanced query also we can see the complete script query editor level M functions too. So here the data destination, if you're observing the configure, right, you can see the default destination is data Toboggan warehouse, and this is my warehouse which I have created just now. I mean, for starting of this demo. And here, if you're observing this, show the data view, or maybe if you are interested with the schema view also, we can configure it. Like what are the fields with the data types, we can cross verify here at the down corner right hand side. So I'm just trying to publish this data set timetable. It will take some time as per the bandwidth, as I said, right? Network size, it will take some time. It will be get loaded. Here. So you can see complete operation, whatever you are trying to perform here in this. And also, I mean, if you want to navigate one screen to the another screen, on the left hand side, we can try to navigate. Currently, I'm executing this. So you can see the data pipeline. Maybe I want to navigate to the warehouse. I mean, workspace warehouse, I can see it here. So it's loaded. I think the timetable has been loaded. So let's try to navigate to warehouse, refresh it. So you can see this timetable has been loaded with these fields. The new column also has generated from the query editor from the data flow Gen 2. Fine. From here, I want to navigate and maybe I'm interested with the building the model. If you want to see, if you're observing from this warehouse, these are the tables I have loaded. Totally 6 tables are there. I just want to navigate to the modeling too. So you can see in the down corner, down right, queries are there. Currently, you are seeing the queries. Maybe if you want to restrict with some records and some column fields, we can try to write the query and try to load it into the warehouse. That is one way. And with the complete full columns and also the complete table information, I want to build a data model. We can just try to select in the model view. Just try to select the model. It will prepare with all the tables in this model. So all tables are else default data set. So which has been all 6 data sets we can observe here. One more, sorry. You can see it, backend queries has been executed. And from here, maybe I'm interested to bring a relationship. So see this, each and every table has been loaded into the direct lake. Maybe if you are observing this in the Power BI side, we have a 2 types of an approaches, import method and direct query. But here you are working on the Microsoft Fabric. That storage mode is something like a direct lake. It has been get stored in the Lakehouse. So each and every table, if you're observing, not connected. So we have to bring in connectivity between. Maybe if you want to do some visualizations on the top of it, we can try to bring the connectivity between one table to the another, just like a primary foreign key kind of a relationship. We have to bring it out and then we can try to create the visualizations too. So I'm just start creating this connectivity between one to another very quickly. So cities table is there. Maybe I want to bring the relationship between the city ID with the city ID field. So whenever you want to starting bringing the relationship, it's a new relationship. So it shows the table from which table to the which table you're trying to map here. And the cardinality part, it will be get supported many to one to many, or one to one. That just like an one instance from one table to the another instance, and the instance of the column from the another table. So many to one kind of a relationship, like foreign key to the primary key it is trying to bring, and the cross filter direction is a single by default. So let's try to bring it as an active relationship. So in this way. So once I get connected, you can see something like a solid line between these two tables. And which field you have mapped it, we can see on hover part. Whenever I'm trying to on hover, you can see the ID column is highlighting between cities table to the sales ID, sales info table. Like that, maybe I can start building the another table visual, connectivity between this. Customer is there and customer ID. I can try to map it. And it's a many to one. Select OK. Let me bring very quick version ID to this. This connectivity is very important whenever you can start visualizing the data based on I'm interested with the city name wise, how much price or else a quantity information has been done. In such a scenario, if you have a proper connectivity between the relationship between one table to the another, we can see the rightful analysis. Otherwise, the data will be messed up and we cannot see the right values. We can try to showcase as an total values for each and every city names too. So that's why the relationships are very important whenever we can try to navigate and build the report too. And this one is based on product table to the SKU. I can bring the report connectivity. So if you're observing, all the tables has been get connected. It's an star schema design. So I'm not moving beyond to the snowflake schema and all, just a star schema where centrally located. I'm having the very important metrics in the center, and all the dimension tables which you are observing currently, the customer, city, version, product has been in the form of a circle. So star schema design I have been modeled. So where it is very, as per the performance prospect wise, and if you want to build the data refresh runtime wise, it is very quick to establish, as well as it will try to bring the quicker analysis on the report level. So I bring the relationship here. So maybe I'm interested to do, as I said, some kind of a new report development. So I can just try to start building the new report here. I'm interested, maybe I want to bring some new calculations onto my table. Like I don't have the total price value. Maybe I want to bring the total profit or else the total sales value by multiplying this profit as well as the quantity. So I want to bring some new calculations inside my visualizations part. So I can just try to use the new measure. So it is a formula bar here. So you can see on the right hand side the properties too. So I want to bring the analysis like total profit in the formula bar using the sum x. So I want to multiply with the two other fields, that is the price and the quantity, which is available on my sales info table. Sum x sales info table, that is my table name which I'm trying to refer. And here I will try to multiply with price column from the sales info quantity. Close the bracket, validate it. So once it's done, maybe this particular important metric, I want to visualize it on the front end, like a reporting level. Let's try to navigate to the new report here itself. Click on the new report. It will open just like an app.powerbi.com. So which you will, in the Power BI desktop by default, screen is the reporting canvas. The same way we can try to visualize in the Microsoft Fabric. You can see it in this here. On the right hand side, these are the visualizations it is getting supported. And if you're observing, these are the tables which you have copied or else loaded all the activities you have performed from the data warehouse to this report building. These are the tables which has been loaded. Maybe as I said, right, the new calculation which I have created, I'm interested with this to see some analysis. Just try to drag and drop. You can see the visualizations too. Maybe let me consider it as a card. So in this way, I can start creating the visualization. I can share this further analysis to the, global users or else participants, whoever want to take some quick decisions. Let me bring one more analysis and then I can close it. See this? Let me convert to an some different chart, bar chart. In this way. So final goal should be something like end-to-end activities wise and the analytics platform, Microsoft Fabric, where it is trying to store the data in the warehouse. And after that, maybe if you want to do some activities on the data pipeline, you are trying to fetch or the data, or else maybe if you are trying to bring the data flow concept and we can try to extract it, we can try to do the activities. And final goal should be something like the visualizations. We can try to prepare the visualizations on the Power BI. So example, maybe these data sets, I want to get it utilized in the Power BI desktop means we can try to bring it from the data flows. Power BI desktop data flows also we can try to see the same warehouse setups and then we can try to bring the data gen like how whatever the table I have prepared and created, right? I can create and extract it from the Power BI desktop too. So, and one more important thing, once you get done, and maybe if you are interested to get connected and see the information or else a table, we can get connected to our table information also. So maybe I'll just try to show you how to get connected to this connection string. See here, let me save it. Report. I just saved it. See here. If you are observing this DTW history, which I have created as a warehouse, and then internally it is linked up with, this is my semantic model. This model, I want to bring it and connect it in the Power BI desktop also I can able to do it. And here, if you want to do further analysis by connecting to this, on-premises source systems means we can get connected, get the connection string, and then we can try to get it imported. So I just copy this connection string from the warehouse which I have been created. And here we have to provide an authentication method that is an universal with our credentials so that we can see the complete information, the whatever the data warehouse or else the stuff you have created. We'll just try to refresh it. So the new warehouse also I created now into this. You can see it here. These are the tables I have been fetched and loaded. You can see that all 6 table information here. So on the top of it, maybe if you want to do some more analysis on the backend part, I'll also bring it to the front end, like on the cloud environment, we can do those activities too. Fine. And I hope I'm done. Yes.